Hello, What Culture? My name is Simon Miller, and you went and did it. You used your power. You took your right finger, or you took your left finger, and you saw the title of this video, or you saw the thumbnail, and you smashed it down. And now you've tuned in. You're here. You're ready for Ups and Downs for Raw, where we do indeed go through Monday Night Raw, WWE's big television show. And if something's good, it gets an up. And if something's down, it gets a down. And sometimes I get my fingers the wrong way. So I go, gets a down. Never the comments goes, why does he do this? Doesn't make any sense. Which is true, but it's just the crazy roller coaster that we go on a couple of times a week. But thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to What Culture, because why the hell wouldn't you? Let's up those downs. Raw started with a pretty emotional video, documented everything that happened with Roman Reigns. You know what? I'm glad that it did. Just because he's not on the show anymore, or just because that's now in the past and we've moved on, doesn't mean the conversation should stop. And if anything, it's where the conversation should be even louder. Otherwise, we're just going to forget about it, and that would be ridiculous. That's not what you do when somebody is ill and really needs all our thoughts and all our prayers. Gets it up. We then cut to Baron Corbin, who was stood in the ring with the Universal title over his shoulder. And that's where things did get a little bit uncomfortable. Now, I'm just going to say this to tie up in a little package with a bow on top. I would implore you to go and watch my video about why Dean Ambrose's heel turn divided the internet to get my feelings of what obviously WWE is about to do. I think it's a very tough subject to tackle. I don't really think there is a right or a wrong. And again, you can go watch that to figure out what I'm talking about. But I would say here, given that Baron Corbin addressed last week, he wished Roman Reigns the best, and then in character said, well, when he comes back professionally, I don't want him on Raw. I kind of thought, it got the balance as well as you possibly could. I'd rather they didn't do this stuff, but it's not my decision. It's not my decision. Only one man has the decision, and that man is called Roman Reigns. So if he gave 2 thumbs up to this, then you know what? That's okay, because it just is. Eventually got interrupted by Brock Lesnar, who probably made about $7.2 million before he even got into the ring. Paul Heyman was with him, took the microphone and basically said, at Crown Jewel, that's happening this Friday, Brock Lesnar will once again become the Universal Champion. This is the start to Raw, though, so eventually Braun Strowman came out, and he disagreed with Brock and Paul and said, no, you got this wrong. I am actually going to win at Crown Jewel, and I am actually going to become the Universal Champion. I mean, who saw that coming? That never happens on Raw. The Constable tried to keep them apart, but that was a mistake because he put his hands onto Strowman. That made the monster mad. He beat him up for a while, gave him a few power slams, and Brock Lesnar was geeing him on, going, yeah, give him another one. But it was all a ruse, because then Lesnar stuck up, and he gave Braun Strowman an F5, and then he walked off, and during that walk, he probably made another $3 million. It was fine though, not great standard stuff, but I certainly didn't hate it. Gets enough. It was then time to focus on the Dean Ambrose heel turn, and yes, just to make it abundantly clear, WWE are going to use everything that happened with Roman Reigns to fuel this forward. But I've addressed that. If you didn't hear it, go back to the start of this video and you can listen to it again. And also, go watch that why video I did. It just sums everything up, or at least my thoughts on the matter up. But yes, the Cliff Note version, it is difficult. It does make for slightly uncomfortable viewing, but let's just see how it plays out over the next few weeks. And for now, I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to take it. There it is, in a little bubble. We'll throw it away. There it goes, floating around through the sky. See you later, bubble. And I'm just going to let it exist there for now. We'll come back to it later. We get into our downs now, though, because then it was Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley again, and it was also pointless. Again, down. Corbin was being dragged to the back during Finn's entrance, and Balor gave him a bit of a sarcastic too sweet, but for the love of everything, please do not go back to that feud. I've seen it enough. And then eventually Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush arrived too. As I said before, I do like this pairing, even though WWE has never explained why exactly Bobby Lashley did go heel. He just did one day. But with all that said, when it comes to this feud, I don't get it. They were having a match for the second week in a row, I think mostly because Bobby Lashley had decided that last week was a big fluke and he was going to prove his worth here. And eventually Finn Balor was going to go hit the coup de grace, meaning he was going to win. Lio Rush pushed him off. He got DQ'd. Finn Balor won via disqualification, and then Bobby Lashley just beat him up. That then resulted in Lashley and Lio Rush going back in stage and Baron Corbin putting Lashley into the World Cup tournament because for some reason, John Cena ain't going anymore. I wonder why. You should go check out the backstage skit between Corbin and Lashley because if you squint, it actually could be from a video game on the PS2. Interestingly, it was then announced that yes, at Survivor Series, we are indeed going to do Becky Lynch, the SmackDown Women's Champion, taking on Ronda Rousey, the Raw's Women's Champion. Now that obviously gets an up, but I don't know about you. If I was booking that, I'd plant some seeds and I'd have a little story and I'd build this narrative as opposed to just having a graphic on Raw that went, ha ha, we're having this match soon. So that part gets a down. What followed is both good and bad, which kind of destroys the whole concept of ups and downs, but stay with me because we did indeed have a 10-woman tag team match that had, wait for it, let's try and get through this, Trish Stratus, Lita, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Natalya, and they were taking on the Riot Squad, Alicia Fox and Mickie James, and Alexa Bliss was in the corner. The good guys won after Natty locked Alicia Fox and the Sharpshooter, and again, it was all fine and dandy, so that can get an up. But, however, between you and me, does anybody find it weird that we had this pretty awesome pay-per-view for the women only 24 hours earlier, and then 24 hours later, they're all just been thrown into one big schmoz of a match? Aren't we meant to be using that to shine a brighter spotlight on the women, as opposed to doing what we've always done for the last, bajillion years? You tell me, what do I know? I'm just a big bald guy, but down. And it's another down because then Nia Jax cut a promo, and just to be as honest as possible, WWE should probably get her a mouthpiece. Much like, Bobby Lashley has a mouthpiece in Lio Rush. Maybe Nia Jax should have a mouthpiece. Down. The long and the short of it was she's going to watch Ronda Rousey beat Becky Lynch at Survivor Series and then cash in her opportunity. Then Ember Moon arrived. And Ember Moon, she said I did really good at the pay-per-view. Then they had a little falling out and they're going to have a match later. I can't remember what it was too, but I also do want to point out when we showed the promo post-Evolution for Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey having a chat and setting this up, this is literally what the interviewer did. What? Like a f***ing game of tennis. We are actually pushing Elias right though. And made me pleased. Up. Not only has he tweaked his act slightly so he's now more fan-friendly without just coming out as a completely different person, he went backstage to sing a specific song for Baron Corbin that was very entertaining. He then got put in a match with Jinder Mahal, who he beat easily. Nice and simple. Was also a great bit where he bumped into Dana Brooke and just refused to sing her a song. And Elias' timing was great there, and he teased calling Stephanie McMahon the B word. So we're all in with Elias and I'm on board. In fact, I'm so on board, give him a golden up. Where is it? I can't remember. I forget which way it is because I can mirror image. Either way, give him a golden up. Another down because then we had a scripted promo with Kurt Angle, and this is easy. Don't give Kurt Angle scripted promos. It makes me do this with my hands like I'm throwing a ball into the floor. Anyway, he is going to be ready for the World Cup tournament. He's training harder than ever. Is going to down. Then we got Bobby Roode and Chad Gable versus the Ascension. Again, only this time, the AOP were just thrown in there. Have a guess what this gets. That's right, down. Look how much I'm cranking my neck, I'm so mad. Barely lasted a wink before Roode and Gable pinned Victor, and then eventually AOP just took everybody out. And I like that bit. That pleased me. My word, this is so dull. WWE then aired some messages from children that Roman Reigns had visited in hospital a few weeks earlier, and I think my heart tore into about 1,000 pieces. I don't care about anything else that gets it up. It was, however, also tied into everything going on between Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, and just to underline it so everybody is clear, it was uncomfortable, but yes, if everybody involved gave it the 2 thumbs up, I don't feel like it's my right to criticize. I think I've said that enough on this video, but now I've said it once more. Rollins eventually came out to the ring without the tag team championship, even though he was talking about how happy he was to be a 4-time tag team champion, so that was ridiculous, and said that he felt guilt because yes, back in the day he turned his back on the Shield, so maybe he should have expected this from his brother, his friend Dean Ambrose. Dean came out through the crowd, Seth told him to come in the ring and explain his actions, Ambrose refused, Seth threatened to go after him, and Dean ran away. That was all we got. That was it. Nothing major, nothing over the top, just like some kind of interaction from afar. I guess we just wait and see what happens next week. Brown down time now, though. Hello, old friend. Brown down lives over there, apparently, because then it was Ember Moon and Nia Jax. What the hell was this, Brown down? For one, the match only went a few minutes and Ember lost despite being one of the most over people at Evolution. And then sure, Tamina came out at one point to cause the distraction and Jax used that to beat Ember. But you don't treat Ember Moon like she's some kind of jobber. She's not a jobber, Nia Jax in WWE. She's the Moon. Also, as I said on Ups and Downs for the pay-per-view this past Sunday, I just don't get what the big thing between Nia Jax and Tamina is, other than, yes, they're quite big. So, does it make a good feud? I didn't care, and I didn't really think the crowd cared here either. Downs then just floated from the ceiling into my face as WWE went into bizarre match mode. First was Lucha House Party beating the Revival quicker than a hiccup, which means Dash and Dawson's career has now officially tanked through the floor. Don't get me wrong, I like Lucha House Party, but they had no build. We're just told, hey, look who's on Raw, it's Lucha House Party, and then they beat the Revival. And then Dolph Ziggler beat Apollo Crews like Apollo Crews was nothing. So we wasted all that time with Elias. Now he came out here and he got defeated really clean. Make that toilet flush noise again. Make a toilet flush noise. That's how I feel about this. We did get a Drew McIntyre promo before this though, and fingers crossed everything is going to go well for Drew McIntyre, because he said once the Universal title situation is sorted out, Crown Jewel, he's going after the winner. I am not Drew McIntyre. He's going after the winner, and I really hope we do that, because Drew is ready. I can feel it in my bones. He gets it up. Then it was main event segment time, and let's just be honest about it. Sure, it was borderline stupid, but it also had Triple H, it also had Shawn Michaels, it also had Kane, it also had The Undertaker, and if you are a sucker for nostalgia, like I am, and don't get me wrong, I'm going to criticize it in a minute, it's hard not to enjoy it for what it is. I'm going to give it an up. Kane and Taker just said a bunch of spooky things, and that really made me laugh, because I started to think, is this how Kane or Glenn Jacobs talks when he's the mayor of Knox County? Like, walks into a boardroom, he's like, your taxes, you need to pay them, otherwise the Grim Reaper will rise from the floor and chase you away until your soul belongs to me. Because if you are doing that, you ain't gonna get re-elected, pal. DX did interrupt Shawn Michaels' sweet chin music, The Undertaker. Eventually Undertaker popped up, and I think we had DX's theme for a while, then we had The Undertaker's theme for a while. WWE did that thing where they just like blare each other's themes at each other because they're not 100% sure who they want to give the momentum to. However, I am going to say this, I don't actually feel this feud feels that special at all. I don't care about the match at Crown Jewel, and I'd rather the spotlight was focused on something else. So there you go, something hasn't gone right, has it? Could be because of all the controversy around that pay-per-view, but honestly, if it came to Friday and someone told me, oh look, we've just cut DX versus the Brothers of Destruction, I wouldn't even feel ripped off. I wouldn't even care that much. And then Raw was over, and I'm not gonna lie, I did sit there and think to myself, that was the most by the numbers Raw I have seen in a very long time. And I get it, they're in a state of flux at the moment, all their plans have changed, and again, the whole Crown Jewel nonsense. But still, if we are just looking at this show in a bubble, which we are, you remember the bubble, it floated off there, it wasn't all that great. Now you're gonna say, but Simon, you gave it more ups than downs. I don't actually add that up, I think I did. Yeah, because I'm a positive guy, and I like to be happy all the time. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's episode of Raw. Like, share, and subscribe. Head on over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles, and follow WhatCulture on Twitter. That's what you do, at WhatCulture WWE. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. Thank you for watching, and remember, go back in time. Watch Ups and Downs for Evolution. You've just watched Ups and Downs for Raw. Tomorrow, watch Ups and Downs for SmackDown. And yeah, on Friday/Saturday, come join me as I up those downs for WWE Crown Jewel.